The parliament was buzzing with energy when it was time to question the prime minister, and as expected, the questions came fast and furious. What unfolded was not a mere formal exchange of arguments, but a confrontation that exposed the intense pressure facing the current government. The main focus, the country's fragile economic situation, a matter that affects not only the legislators but millions of citizens. A member of the opposition started by challenging the prime minister with a direct and pointed question, implying that the leader was out of touch with the reality experienced by his own constituents. Mr. Prime Minister, he said firmly, "Are you unaware that my constituency has only one hospital? How can you then defend the claim that public policies have improved when we see overcrowded hospitals and services in free fall?" The question echoed through the chamber, forcing the Prime Minister to respond with no room for evasion. The government leader, calm as ever, tried to provide context. "Since our party took office, we have faced numerous challenges. Yes, inflation has risen, but it is not due to poor management. It is because of external factors affecting all countries. Furthermore, we have managed to get 500,000 more people employed since the general election, a fact the opposition prefers to ignore in order to keep disparaging our nation." However, the opposition's rebuttal was immediate and forceful. "We cannot be satisfied with just those cold numbers," argued one of the most critical MPs. "The reality is that unemployment has not only increased, but has been climbing month after month since you took power. Real wages are stagnant, and many families are witnessing their purchasing power collapse day by day." The discussion then shifted to public finances. "You promised a balanced budget," one parliamentarian declared, "but in reality, we've seen the deficit rise by £10 billion since the last budget. How can you justify that your economic policy is working?" The Chancellor, visibly uncomfortable, tried to justify the figures by saying, "These numbers must be interpreted in the context of the strategic investments we are making. Recently, we announced the creation of thousands of new jobs in key sectors such as defense and construction, which will guarantee stability and growth in the long run." But the opposition refused to back down. "You talk about investments while cutting essential social programs. The famous winter fuel payment that you promised to eliminate to balance the public accounts ended up being a source of confusion and rebellion within your own party. Why did you backtrack on that decision? Isn't that a clear sign that you don't have a solid plan?" The debate grew even more heated when one MP sarcastically remarked, "It seems you're more worried about Liz Truss's legacy than the country's economic health. Are you still stuck in old ideas and mistakes that only sink the economy deeper?" In response, a government member fired back harshly, calling the opposition cowards who prefer to talk about others to avoid facing their own failures. He insisted that the criticism was based on fear rather than facts, accusing the opposition of using Liz Truss as a scapegoat to hide their own weaknesses. Tensions rose further when the famous U-turn on winter payments was discussed, which had caused confusion and criticism both inside and outside Parliament. "Why did you change your mind several times? At first, you said it was necessary to eliminate the payment to avoid a monetary crisis, and then, within days, you reversed course without clear explanation." The government defended the decision, claiming these were necessary adjustments to stabilize the economy, but the opposition accused the administration of improvisation and incoherence, stating those changes only eroded public trust. Amid the dispute, the real impact of these policies was highlighted. Hundreds of thousands of families have seen their incomes reduced. Businesses in key regions like Stoke, Grangemouth, and Luton have closed or downsized, and economic uncertainty seems endless. At another point, a voice rose to mention the alleged internal crisis within the cabinet, with visible disagreements between the Chancellor and other government members. How can a team govern effectively when there is no unity? Unfunded commitments only increase public debt and worsen the crisis. The critique culminated with a direct question. Could it be that the problem isn't just the economy, but that we have the wrong chancellor and misguided priorities? The reply came with a mix of irony and reproach, pointing out that the real mistake was choosing the opposition that now leads the criticism. The political debate had settled, and attention shifted to another stage equally important to many citizens: the British royal family. This time, the focus was on the clear differences between the brothers, Princes William and Harry, whose paths have grown increasingly divergent since the latter stepped back from his active royal duties. Since Harry and Meghan Markle decided to withdraw from their official roles in 2020 and settle in the United States, public interest has centered on how each handles their responsibilities and the legacy that awaits them. While Harry has dedicated his time to personal projects like the Invictus Games, which have gained international recognition, and promoting social causes from a more independent position. Meghan tends to be the visible face on social media, sharing aspects of her life and initiatives with her followers. On the other hand, Prince William has taken his role as future king increasingly seriously, intensifying his presence at official events and important engagements both within the UK and on the global stage. This dedication has been praised by experts who highlight the Duke of Cambridge's transformation into a leader mindful of his father's legacy and the historical weight of his position. Robert Jobson, a well-known royal commentator, has recently spoken about the significant disparity between the two brothers. According to Jobson, William embodies institutional commitment and responsibility, while Harry and Meghan, though still influential public figures, have chosen paths that, in his words, may seem more superficial or linked to seeking media attention. This contrast is evident not only in their official acts, but also in public perception, which is often divided over who better represents the monarchy's values and stability. One example that sparked considerable attention was a viral video showing Harry and Meghan performing a casual, carefree dance at a family celebration. Shared on social media to mark their daughter's birthday, the clip drew criticism and jokes for being far from the solemnity traditionally expected of the royal family. Meanwhile, William continues focusing on consolidating his image as a monarch in waiting, someone who takes seriously the task of supporting his father, the king, and preparing his children for future institutional roles. The education and upbringing of William's children, Princes George, Charlotte, and Louis, have received particular attention. Experts note that the royal family is investing effort in preparing them for the responsibilities they will one day assume, aiming to raise them with a clear sense of duty and commitment to the crown and nation. This planning contrasts with the Sussex couple's image, who have opted for a more private life, less bound to royal traditions and protocols. The physical and emotional distance that has grown between the brothers is reflected not only in their public appearances, but also in how they manage their influence and legacy. While William maintains a low but steady profile focused on continuity and stability, Harry and Meghan have pursued new ways to make a social impact, including media appearances, streaming platform deals, and awareness campaigns that often challenge traditional royal reserve. This shift has provoked mixed reactions within British society and international media, where some see Harry and Meghan as a couple fighting for autonomy and new forms of relevance, while others criticize them for stepping away from the responsibilities their origins entail. Meanwhile, the royal family has made efforts to maintain institutional unity, though personal and public differences persist and fuel ongoing debates. The contrast between the two brothers is not just about style and priorities, but also about visions for the monarchy's future. William projects himself as the traditional custodian who seeks modernization without losing historical essence, while Harry seems interested in redefining what it means to be royal in the 21st century, even if that means breaking protocols and traditions. This scenario is further shaped by the growing importance of social media and how both sides use these platforms. Meghan especially has proven to be very active in sharing content related to her projects and family, seeking direct connection with a global audience. This has altered the monarchy's communication dynamic, which historically operated under strict control and formality. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to stay up to date with all the most relevant news and debates about politics, royalty, and British current affairs, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and comment your thoughts about Princes William and Harry's situation and what you think the future holds for the monarchy. Your opinion is very important to us. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos.